In the headlines, first batch of Nigerians arrive from Romania. House of Representatives reject bills to regulate children of public officers study abroad. Wife of suspected killer of Hanifa Abubakar testifies in court. And on the foreign scene, Ukraine secures Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant after Russian attack sparks fire, global alarm over nuclear danger. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ila. Thank you for joining. The details now. First batch of evacuees from Bucharest, Romania arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, on Friday morning. The evacuees who fled Ukraine in the wake of the Russian invasion of the country sought refuge in Romania. The federal government had contracted some aircraft to evacuate the stranded Nigerians who had been asked to go to neighboring countries such as Poland, Hungary, Romania, among others. Recall that the federal government had approved a total of $8.5 million for the exercise. Meanwhile, reports say that Air Peace could not depart Nigeria as scheduled due to operational hitches. Max Air flight left Abuja for Bucharest on Thursday and is now back with the first set of evacuees. House of Representatives rejects a bill seeking to regulate studies for wards and children of Nigerian public office holders abroad. Sponsor of the bill, Representative Sagios Ogun, said the bill, if passed into law, will strengthen the indigenous institutions, provide efficient service for national development, among other things. The report.
The current state of education in Nigeria has remained a matter of concern, with the nation's universities consistently getting low ranking in the world. This is one of the cogent reasons for the mass exodus of Nigerians overseas for studies due to incessant strike actions by university lecturers, poor lecturer-to-student ratio, to name but a few. When it comes to traveling overseas for studies, wards and children of the elites, particularly public office holders, usually take the lead. Most times, wards and children of the ordinary Nigerians bear the brunt of these strike actions as their parents cannot afford to either send them to private schools or send them abroad for studies. The funds used by these elites are most of the times alleged to be sources from public purse. To this end, Representative Sagios Ogun in the bill highlights the need to regulate the practice of public office holders sending their children abroad for studies.
More than 75,000 Nigerians are reported to be studying in Ghana, paying well over $1 billion USD annually for tuition fees and upkeep. Most of these foreign students are children, ward of public servants and political office holders who ostensibly cut away public funds to a private use. For private use, it is against this background that this bill is proposed to regulate this trend and position our educational system for global competitiveness.
The bill, however, met with resistance, which started from the Deputy Minority Leader, Toby Okechukwu, who said there's no proof regulating international studies in any way that proves the standard of education in Nigeria. Other lawmakers who contribute to the bill opposed the bill in a bill to make the sponsor of the bill withdraw it.
Is it likely that children schooling overseas is the reason why our educational institutions are not working effectively? We must make a distinction, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, between hiring competent people who should man offices, who should be responsible, who are acting based on knowledge, as against legislating for things that may not in a real sense cure the problem.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, may further this bill in section 42 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic offensive very strongly, except you amend this section, then you can be able to say you are bringing this kind of bill to the floor of the National Assembly. For this ground, Mr. Speaker, it offends it completely, It's against the ground norm. It's against the operational compass upon which all laws lay their claims in Nigeria.
It's not maybe because we are public officers, you not see as children schooling abroad. Some have the means, apart from being incumbent. So if you say, because I'm now a member of House of Rep, I should go and withdraw my children from where they're schooling, and our institution here, as he has said, is not in order. Everybody wants the best. Actually, most of us here, I can say, we went to higher institution in this country when the schools were good.
Representative Ogun, however, insisted he will not withdraw the bill. In his response, the Deputy Speaker who presided over plenary said the House cannot be blackmailed.
Our language in the floor matters, and we should not be blackmailed, and there shouldn't be blackmail. Those in favor that the bill be executed and say aye, against say nay, the nays have it.
This is not the first time this particular bill has been presented, and each time it has met same resistance. Lawmakers, however, believe that investment in education needs to become much more efficient, requiring government at all levels to prioritize the sector since it is considered as key to economic prosperity.
Meanwhile, the federal government has reconstituted a team to renegotiate the 2009 agreement it had with the Academic Staff Union of Universities. Reconstituting the team, Education Minister Adamu said there is need to speedily bring to conclusion all outstanding issues in the 2009 agreement in order to achieve the desired industrial peace on Nigerian higher institutions. Professor Emeritus Nimi Briggs, the Pro-Chancellor of Alex Ekwueme University, Federal University, was appointed as the chairman of the team, which will be inaugurated by the minister on Monday, the 7th of March 2022. Abuja Games Village Residents Association is accusing a private estate developer of invading their estate, building on walkways, cutting down trees, and constructing buildings in flagrant abuse of the master plan. The developer, however, said he has all necessary approvals. The report.
Chairman of Association Abuja, Abdullahi Yahya, said all buildings in the estate should be a 3 to 4 bedroom terrace flat, but a new development is threatening the serenity of the estate. Yahya said the association are in court challenging the legality of erection of new structure in the estate, but the developers continue with his development despite sustaining court order directing parties to maintain status quo. He accused the developers of hiring 20 policemen to guard his workers' building in the estate when members of the association tried to stop him.
The issue before us has to do with the developers that have invaded our estate, and in spite of the court order stopping them from construction further, which the case is now adjourned till 14th of March, the developer had to go and engage the Nigerian police force. We don't know. We had visited the police severally on this matter, and we had asked them to please, this is a civil matter. Let the court decide. We don't have land, we don't have the power to take land from whoever the federal government has issued land to. We are not approving authority. It's not the only one that has come for building. If you go to our recreational center, though that one too have its own issue, but it was resolved.
A resident of Games Village, Kemi Peter, retired from the army as colonel, and he corroborates what the association chairman said.
This has been a running battle. The developers have impacted a lot on our security, our sewage system, our green areas, our common areas, and they have destroyed it, and it is no more in accordance with the plan which government gave Games Village when it was established in 2003 after the Koja Games.
Responding to issues raised by the Residents Association Chief Executive Officer of City Gates that is responsible for erection of new building at the Games Village, Mike Ijoku, said he obtained all the necessary approvals and no court stops him from building in the estate.
Well, yes, we are doing such developments inside Games Village. I will have all the relevant documents. If they have any issue, they should take their complaint to the FCT or to the Federal Executive Council, which I know they have done already. And at the end of the day, it took 2 years. The minister set up a committee who put up a report after investigation and confirmed that these properties, this development we are doing, were original part of the master plan. I have the order here, an enrolled order. This order, because of Game Village claims on it, will have gone back to the court through the CP, Commissioner of Police Legal Force Headquarters. We have to write a petition, and the Commissioner of Police FCT, the Commissioner of Police in charge of Legal Force Headquarters, has gone to this court to verify the meaning of what the court have said, by what the court means by suspend all further infrastructure within the land. But the same court order says suspend, that is fence, it's talking about fence. The police have to take their time and go to the court, and the court explained to the police in writing that no, this man was even at the court, the man that is telling you this was in court, and we said fence. But you know, the courts have their, judges have their own language. They can't come and write fence like every other layman. They now said suspend the infrastructure within the plot. And they say suspend infrastructure within the plot and maintain the status quo.
Parties to the dispute may wait till court makes definite pronouncement on the matter.
Now, wife of Abdulmalik Tanko, facing trial for the murder of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar, testifies against him at Kano High Court on Thursday. Justice Usman Na'abad presided over the Sitting Prosecution Council, and Kano State Attorney General Lawan Musa led Jamila Muhammad in evidence as prosecution witness. 3 witnesses were presented, including 2 DSS personnel and a police officer, IPO, in the case when the trial resumed on Wednesday. The State Council presented 1 other woman and then Jamila, wife of the suspected killer, as the 5th prosecution witness. Standing before the court, she identified Abdulmalik Tanko as her lawfully wedded husband and the 2nd defendant, Hashim, as his friend ever since she knows him. Jamila informed the court that her husband brought the girl to the house, pretending that her mother had traveled to Abuja for visa interview. She said after 5 days, she said he is going to take her back. And the next thing she knew is operatives of the Department of State Security Service coming to arrest him. Counsel to the defendants, M.A. Usman, then cross-examined Jamila before the court discharged her. On the cross-examination by the defense counsel, Jamila said Tanko told her name of Hanifa's mother is Murja. A total number of 8 prosecution witnesses were presented to the court. The case is adjourned till 9th and 10th of March for further hearing. Now, 16 days after the tragic story of late 19-month-old pupil Obinna Udeze allegedly flogged to death by his teacher, it has now been established that he died as a result of septic shock. Delta State Commissioner of Police disclosed this during a press briefing at the state headquarters in Asaba, insisting that the autopsy result shows that his death is not caused by the flogging. Consequently, CP Ari Ali Muhammad says investigation is concluded and the matter has now been charged to court. Reacting to the news, the mother of the boy says her position on the cause of the death still remains the same, and she is calling for justice for her late son.
According to the autopsy report, the cause is that the boy died of septic shock. Septic shock. That is what the autopsy result says is, of course, the death of, that caused the death of that boy. Not the flogging as alleged. So now that the autopsy report is out, and of course doctor says it is caused by septic shock, we have no option than to charge the case to court. When it gets to court, lawyers, court can do the follow-up from there. It is now going to be the duty of the court to interpret alongside with the medical doctors or whoever that did the autopsy to explain that to the court. As far as we are concerned, we are done with that investigation. The police is done with the investigation of that matter. The next is to charge the case to court. So whatever interpretation the court wants to give to it is left for them.
At the police station today, not just quite long I got back. And if this information got, for you to get it, that means it didn't come this evening. I should have been pre-informed. And if I wasn't briefed on anything pertaining this, I would still say I didn't accept it. So I would be waiting for them and for the government, because for me, I can't do anything. I have nothing. I have nobody to run to. The only person I'm begging is God for justice to prevail.
Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) is meeting with stakeholders on how to ensure physical presence as against near-zero presence of prospective voters during elections on the newly created polling unit in Kwara State. The electoral umpire also warns against double registration, which it says is a criminal offense. The report.
Low turnout of voters on election day has been a challenge the Independent National Electoral Commission is facing. The electoral body created more polling units to address the problem, but this seems not completely over.
All the recs were summoned to Abuja to come up with modalities of how we are going to avoid zero polling units. Because the Anambra election that was held, over 1,900 polling units were not used because there were no voters. And INEC had printed thousands and thousands of ballot papers and it was not utilized. The same thing with the FCT election. Over 593 polling units were not used. Some even had just 0, some had 10. So they say we should go back. The essence of why the polling unit was created is not being utilized.
The interactive session is meant to address the issue, and the representatives of political parties and non-governmental organizations were on ground to offer suggestions and ask questions.
The REC, in its remark, the registration exercise commenced last year, June. And those of us that must have gone to do some amendment on our PVC or CVR, when is it going to be out? Ordinarily, one would have thought before the next quarter. The other one, the one we have done, ought to have been ready, so that it will not come at the same time with others after a year of registration.
The police seized the opportunity to warn politicians against any breach of the law as it affects the commencement of campaigns.
I want to at this point tell you that INEC has not officially lifted ban on campaign activities. We are warning you not to do anything that will hit up the state by engaging on political campaign at this point, utterances or publications. We have been witnessing it. We will not hesitate to arrest any party official or his proxy and invoke the wrath of the law.
Stakeholders hope voter turnout will be impressive during the next round of elections, with creation of more polling units by INEC across the country.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Fake medical doctor in soup. We'll take a look at the details shortly. Thanks for staying. This is Trust News Update, and here's another look at the top stories again. First batch of evacuees from Bucharest, Romania, arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, on Friday morning. Wife of Abdulmalik Tanko, facing trial for the murder of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar, testifies against him at Kano High Court on Thursday. And public health matters now. Nigeria Center for Disease Control says Nigeria recorded 8 infections across the country. The center stated this in its update for Thursday, 3rd March. The new infections were lodged in 2 states and with 16 people discharged after they recovered from the infection. According to NCDC, no fatality reported. With the newly confirmed cases, a total of 254,606 infections have been recorded, with 249,154 recoveries and 3,142 fatalities. Meanwhile, a fake medical doctor is in police custody in Gombe State. The suspect, named Vincent Ehikioya, has been practicing with a forged license in an unnamed private hospital in Gombe Metropolis for a long time. Ibrahim Ismail has more.
This is a 36-year-old man paraded by the Gombe State Police Command. He is believed to be a fake medical doctor. The police said the man was fingered by a medical doctor who reported him to the Nigerian Medical Council.
Another important case that's worth of mentioning is impersonation. One Vincent Edesini, age 36 years, of Ekpoma in Edo State. This one impersoned to be a medical doctor. The command, through information from the Nigerian Medical Council, arrested one Vincent Edesini, age 36 years, of Ekpoma in Edo State, who has been working as a medical doctor at one of the hospitals in Gombe. But luck ran out of him when the director of the hospital, the head of the clinic, noticed that he cannot satisfactorily discharge his duty effectively. Hence, he called for verification of his certificate, certification from the Nigerian Medical Council, who, after discovered that his license is forged, which led to his subsequent arrest. Meanwhile, the suspect has even confessed to the crime and the reason why he's probably involved in that this unlawful act. After the complete obligation, he will be charged to court.
Speaking to newsmen, the suspect confessed to his crime.
I never intend to show on live TV like this.
You never like to be on TV like this?
I never intend to show up on TV this way. I actually
you have been accused of having a fake or impersonation.
Yes, yeah, all right. Due to financial constraint, I dropped out of medical school after my pre-clinicals.
What year?
In the year 2008.
So you're not able to go back and complete your study?
Yeah, due to financial constraint, I was unable to raise a fund to go back to school. And I believe this is a deterrent to people out there. There is no shortcut. There is no don't cut short corners to success. Make sure you do the right thing, and you will be successful. On my own part, I know after this ordeal, definitely I'm going back to school and do the right thing, and I'll be successful in life. Thank you so much.
Why do you have to wait till this time, since 2008, before you realize this? I'm sure you must have raised some money.
As a family man, family pressure here and there, so I was unable, no sponsor. I was unable to raise funds to further my education. And I believe this is a challenge to me. I am going out there to prove the whole world wrong. That once a fake doctor, now is the real doctor. Thank you.
The Gombe State Police Command also paraded some suspected criminals on various offenses, including a suspected killer and a suspected kidnapper. All these suspects are expected to be taken to court for trial. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And away from Nigeria, Ukrainian authorities say that the safety of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is now secured after a fire broke out at a training building when the complex came under fire from Russian forces. A Russian airstrike destroyed the power plant in Okhturka, a city located between Kharkiv and Kyiv, leaving residents without heat or electricity. And with that, we wrap up the news update. Join us again later on the same news update. I am Ayuba Ila. Thank you for watching.